Hey y'all, TraCheri here with Picture Me Living, and I am in Italy again. I am in a place that I've never been before, and I've never seen many people go to this place. It's in the Tuscany region, and the city is called Montepulciano. Montepulciano. And top 3. Definitely entered my top 3. Positano was my favorite. I don't know. This is pretty awesome, you guys. I'm a fan of mountains and water, but I would assume, just based off watching my own podcast, that mountains are first before water. Like, I would move to Utah before I move to Miami. I don't know. That's just my preference. There's a piece about this. There's just a piece that you can't get in a fast city. This is like a countryside situation. I think we all know that already, and Tuscany is known for its wine. But when I arrived here, it's like time stopped. Like, I haven't been worried about anything, and I have a lot to worry about right now. I I just moved and I'm trying to rent my house out. I have a lot to worry about right now, but I have not worried about anything since I arrived here because it just really gives peace. So, I want to make this quick, mainly because they just started cutting the grass right when I just got started. And I want to go have dinner with my son. So why am I here? My son is studying abroad. He's taking some classes in Montepulciano, and I decided to come out here with him and take a vacation on the front end, which, you know, hindsight, we probably ain't need to do that financially. But at the time, I was like, let's take a vacation on the front end. Let's go to France. He's never been to Nice, France, the French Riviera area. I enjoyed it a lot. I have a podcast episode there that is probably my favorite conversation so far. And why is it my favorite? Because y'all kept asking me around that time, what are you going to do when your son graduates? What are you going to do? And I addressed that in that episode. And this is what I'm doing. Full circle. Full circle. Your parents' life don't revolve around you. I think that's why so many people ask that. They're like, what are you going to do? Is because maybe your parents probably gave up a lot for you, but I just did not do that on my end. I've done a lot for my son, but I didn't give up myself. I didn't give up my health, my looks, my mental. I definitely had a balance between parenting and still being myself, still being true to myself, still wearing crop tops, keeping my stomach as flat as I can, working out, not letting a man stress me out. Because of that, it is easy for me to transition. Because of that, I'm a mom now that an adult son wants to hang out with. I had to pause right there because that always makes me feel away. Because I don't necessarily hang out with my parents for several different reasons. And, my son wants to hang out with me. I think that's beautiful. But he will be here for a month. I'm only going to be here with him till tomorrow. And he's already settled in his place. I'm in a total separate hotel. Like I said, we had a vacation on the front end. It was just a couple days in Nice, and we were tired. So that is why, hindsight, maybe we didn't need to do that. Maybe we could have just came here and waited for his class to catch up with him. Isn't his life awesome, though? Like, I tell him all the time, the foundation of his life is creating something so awesome. Like, I'm really looking forward to what he does with this foundation that his parents have laid out for him, because he's about to study for a month in the Tuscany region, and they have all these trips planned. Like, they have so much stuff planned. Obviously, he's not going to post about it because he does not post on Instagram. He does have a few outfits that are fire that he wants to take pictures in. And I think that's really the only reason why he wants to get dinner with me tonight, because he wants me to take his pictures. But that's fine. I'm okay with that. As a mom, I know a lot of people watch me and they think, I'm just this Instagram girl or whatever you thought is probably in that direction. But I'm really a nerdy mom. And if my son just wants to hang out with me to take a picture, my heart is so full. Like, I will sleep like a baby tonight knowing that I took pictures for my son and that's what he wanted and he's happy. So, let's get into some travel topics. I have been to Italy a few times. At the end of this trip, I will post some comparisons for you guys. Like, what's my favorite city? I don't think I have a least favorite city in Italy. I guess it would be Rome. All of the cities in Europe, most of the big cities are walkable. So if you want a restaurant, if you want to work out, if you want anything you need, coffee, tea, hookah, pizza. I even saw a Healthy Bowls restaurant in Nice. Just walking around, you just find different things just from walking around. Atlanta is not a walkable city, okay? You have got to get in your car and you have got to drive 30 minutes to get everywhere. So that is what is so beautiful about Europe, in addition to the architecture. And that is why I love coming here, because I walk around a lot and that helps me to get exercise and get steps in while eating whatever I want to. The drink of the hour is called Rosato, and this is a wine that is made in this vineyard right here. The hotel that I'm staying in is called Casa Vineyard, and it's absolutely amazing. It's really affordable to be a 4-star hotel. And for everything that's included in the hotel, I mean, I'm actually shocked at this whole experience. And I can't believe this isn't on the list of things women want to do. I guess I never thought to do this because it's just so many other places in Italy, but this is definitely couples trip, girls trip vibe, not a guys trip vibe unless you and your guys like to drink wine, but it's definitely a chill couples trip. Unless you that couple that always arguing, always got some shit going on, you probably ain't gonna like it here. But if you that couple that just wants some peace and quiet, this is perfect. They have a full bar in addition to a lot of different wines, and this is their version of a rosé, and it's really good. I had a wine tasting yesterday for 60 euros. 60 euros. 60. And at first I was like, wow, this is really expensive wine tasting. Trey, you can't be spending money like this. I'm actually going to be here in Europe for 3 weeks. So I can't be frivolously spending. I was about to beat myself up and be hard on myself for that. When I tell you that was the best wine tasting I've had in my life, it was worth every 60 euro. They gave me a charcuterie board, 4 full glasses of wine. It was not like any other wine tasting I've ever experienced. And then they gave me their version of a full wine glass, which is a full wine glass of my favorite of the 4. I was bent. I was pretty satisfied by the end of that wine tasting. And everyone here is friendly. So I did have to rent a car from Rome because sometimes when you're traveling, things don't go as planned. And that's why you have to pick your travel partners accordingly. Because my transportation did not go as planned. I just assumed that I can catch a train from Rome to here. And I could. Getting back, I would miss my flight. That's the only train option that they had. I would miss my flight. And so I'm like, fuck, but I really want to go here. Like, I saw the pictures on my son's brochure And I'm like, yo, I really want to go here. I got to make this work. I went looking for a rental car, found one through Hertz. It was very easy. The check-in counter, the guy spoke English. He still tried to hit me upside the head with all the extra stuff. I obviously got the insurance because I'm in Europe. I can't use my USA account. So, and that was an additional 90 euros. The toll was an additional 40 euros. And if you recall from my past Italy rental car experience, the tolls kicked our ass. So definitely add the toll pass. You don't even have to stop to pay anything. It beeps when you go through. Gate opens, you're good, right? But driving was actually therapeutic. They gave me a Fiat, automatic this time, and it was pretty awesome. It was an easy ride, and I don't mind renting a car. So I'm human. It's okay if I change my mind sometimes. So I don't mind renting a car in another country as long as I stay out of the big city. When we went to go get hookah that night in Milan, that was absolutely insane. We got cursed out so many times. We were in the car panicking, like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And then I had to parallel park. It was a mess. And I'm actually nice at parallel parking. So that's why if I'm telling you it was a mess, it was bad. But coming from Rome Airport, because Rome Airport is an hour away from Rome. Coming from Rome Airport to here, I did not have to go through any major city at all. It was a blessing. It was easy. Like I said, time just slowed down. And I just felt the peace come over me. So I would give like an itinerary of the things that I did here. And I will also update this video each time my son does something with his class, okay? So that you can have a list of things to do. I did have great pizza while here. And I thought I had great pizza before in other places like Naples. Venice had great pizza. But no, this was probably the best pizza ever. It was spicy salami with mozzarella. The mozzarella was very tasty. And I think that's what makes an Italian pizza great, is when they flavor the mozzarella cheese. Sometimes they don't. And sometimes you'll get a margherita pizza and it's just bland cheese with a little piece of basil on the top. And the olive oil has no flavor. But when you could tell when people actually really love being a restaurant and they put the extra step into that mozzarella cheese, and it's amazing. Let's throw in a little bit of personal thoughts. I have a friend, one of my best friends. I even say her name, Melanie. Melanie tells me all the time. Hope she doesn't mind me saying this. She tells me all the time, if I didn't know you, I would be mad at you too. Just from looking at your social media. If I didn't know that your life was what it was and that you have the struggles that you have. And so she says that to me all the time, but she said something very unique yesterday that stood out to me. I had to write it down. Success looks like it comes easy. I'm never going to go against the grain of posting struggles on Instagram. I had an old friend tell me that. She was like, people want to see the struggle. And she wasn't wrong. People really do want to see the struggle. One of my other friends sends me reels all the time with this one lady that goes viral for crying every day. Her baby daddy sucked. She ain't got no money for this. Her baby daddy sucked again. Mind you, she's wearing aloe clothes every day. She lives in a high-rise apartment. She's doing pretty well in life, but she cries every day. And so I told my friend that sends me that, I was like, friend, she's crying every day because y'all sharing it. It's kind of like Pop the Balloon. They're viral for bullying people because y'all enjoy that negativity. I don't. And I'm going to stay on the grain. I'm not posting the negative things from my life. I'm just not going to do that. If it comes up in conversation and if it flows well in a conversation, I will talk about certain things on the podcast, but I'm not gonna make an Instagram post of me, oh my God, I just had to break up with this guy because, like, it doesn't even feel authentic to do that. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't, that's not what I enjoy watching. So I'm not going to put that into the world. But I think it's human nature for people to think that you're not struggling because you're not posting the struggle. And you know what? I'm going to lean into that even more now. Now that I'm older and more mature, I'm going to lean into that because I don't even think people have to understand that. I don't even think that what's understood doesn't have to be said. I just think that I'm going to find my audience and it's just not you. And I'm just going to have to find that audience and keep working to find that audience. And I will. Success looks like it comes easy. Like, I've never looked at like Will and Jada. I've said this on the podcast before. I've never looked at Will and Jada and said, man, that's a perfect marriage. But y'all did. Now look at you. And then after a while, you get tired of seeing it, right? I never needed to see the negative side of their relationship. I knew it. Nobody's perfect, you know? Will people ever understand that? No, I think that it's a projection. And if you're going through something right now, you need to know other people are going through stuff to make yourself feel better. And the only thing that could help you with that is therapy. That's the only thing that can help you through that. I think that I read a lot of books growing up, and I think that's what saved me from that mindset because I read a lot of Agatha Christie. I can quote some William Shakespeare right now if you ask me to. I wanted to go to Verona, Italy for so long as a kid because that's where Romeo and Juliet was at. So, and I used to imagine that in my brain. And so if I see someone online doing something or traveling, I'm excited for them for that because I probably read about that in a book or I also want to go. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Another quote that recently came up that someone shared to me. It is expensive to straddle a fence. It's expensive to straddle a fence. I'm not going to go into detail with that one. That story has nothing to do with me, and it was just a part of a conversation. I wrote it down because I think it applies. I think every woman has a story about that, actually. So if you can relate to that, let me know. You know, the men have a problem with accountability, but if you're a man and you know that you straddled a couple fences before and you want to tell me a story, hit me up. All right, back to the travel. So here's some advice. There is Uber in Rome. However, the taxis fought back. Okay. What I mean by that is the taxis said Uber's not finna come here and take over. When you order an Uber on the Uber app, bitch, it's gonna be a taxi. So that kind of threw me off. And if you want to Uber, you're going to have to get an Uber Black. It is going to be at least 80 euros. Do what you want with that information. Walk your ass to that taxi. And the thing is, in most cities, you got to pass the taxis to get to the Uber, right? And that's what we did. That walk of shame back, once I seen that Uber Black price, yeah, that walk of shame back was extremely humbling. I don't get embarrassed. I don't give a fuck. I'm walking back to this $30 ride, straight on the $80. But they are nice. They give you either a black car or a Sprinter, a Mercedes Sprinter. So it is nice. However, go ahead and give me that taxi, shot. The taxis need to fight back in Las Vegas and Miami, in my opinion. In my opinion. Those are just two cities that I used to could count on for a $10 taxi anywhere. Anywhere. That's why when people would plan a trip to Las Vegas be like, we ain't even gonna be in a hotel room like that. We can just get a hotel off the strip. No, I ain't going with you. It's a $10 ride anywhere. If I stay at the Palazzo, it's a $10 ride to Planet Hollywood. If I stay at Planet Hollywood, it's a $10 ride to Treasure Island. So it's just, Uber kind of ruined it. Anytime I would go to Miami, I just knew I could catch a taxi. It's just not like that anymore. It's not difficult to get an Uber in the Miami airport. Not sure about Fort Lauderdale, but it's not difficult. But the taxis are just right there. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. They're just right there. Now, a city like Atlanta, they don't move the Uber pickup. It is ridiculous. It's like a 3-mile walk from the airport to the Uber pickup. Absolutely insanity. I'm not even sure if I know they got a taxi pickup on the international side. I don't think they got nothing on the domestic side. You just got to thug it out. Crazy. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. They say that, let me throw in a little bit more lifestyle. They say that, somebody love you when they pick you up from the Atlanta airport. And it made me think about a guy that I just dated. And not gonna get into any detail, but if he wanted to, he would, right? Y'all bitches love saying that. If he wanted to, he would. That is a terrible phrase because men will. For the right woman, men will. A married man will. A man in a relationship that's concealing a relationship will. That motherfucker picked me up from the airport and loved me. I think that we need to trash that phrase, if he wanted to, he will. And I think that we also need to stop blanket. People love you when they pick you up from the airport. Stop saying that dumbass shit. Because I ain't picking up nobody I love from the Atlanta airport. I've said that on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again. I'm not picking up anybody. And now that my son is 19, I'm going to pick my son up from the airport. Well, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that one. We'll see. I don't care how much I love you. I'm not inconveniencing myself picking up people from the airport. So stop saying phrases like that. They are blanket phrases, and I get it. It makes you feel good when someone picks you up from the airport. So say that about your life, but don't put a blanket phrase, because you're blanketly saying, let's praise the fake love or the temporary love, because I really do be loving people, but I'm not picking up any one of them from the airport. And I've had some bogus people pick me up from the airport. I've had some homegirls from the past pick me up, an ex pick me up. That don't mean nothing. They'll pick you up, drop you off, and talk about you in that same air that you just breathed in a car. Stop saying stuff like that. I will be out here for 3 weeks. I will get as much content as I can. I'm going to Turkey tomorrow, and after that, I am meeting a friend in Greece. Life is good. Thank you, God. Questions. I have 2 questions that were submitted by friends. Comment below your answers. This first one actually had me thinking. Do you spend time in hotel lobbies? I spend time at the hotel lobby bar. It depends on what I have going on. But that was thought-provoking because sometimes the lobby is kind of lit. You get some great people watching, right? You get to see who card declining. Shit, you get to see who cheating on and who getting cheated on. You get to see a lot in the hotel lobby. Do you spend time at the hotel lobby? Comment below. And this is a question that I'm actually stumped on, believe it or not. What is a group girls trip idea? And the individual invited me on a girls trip with other girls that I would get along with, and we would have a great time. But she invited me to Turks and Caicos. Great girls trip. Great girls trip. If you've been to Turks on a girls trip, what did you do? If you have other girls trip idea, if you've been to Turks too many times, or if you're tired of seeing it, because this is a friend who she gonna go. It don't matter what Instagram is saying. She's very confident in herself, and she's gonna go. and do whatever needs to be done in Turks and Caicos if that's what her heart desires. So if you have some ideas for a good Turks and Caicos girls trip, let me know. I'm stumped. What is a good girls trip? Because I think I want to bring some girls back here. I want to bring some girls back here. But this might be boring to some people. Drinking wine and chilling and relaxing might be boring to some people. Some people they want to run into Drake at Turks and Caicos. So I'm stumped because I want to do stuff like this. I don't want to wake up taking shots. I might wake up and have a mimosa with you from time to time, but if we got stuff to do, probably not. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the ground rolling. Believe it or not, I'm not a vacation partier. Quite boring, actually. I don't know. What are some good girls trip ideas or suggestions? And I would like to plan it for this friend. Even if I can't make it financially, I want to plan it for her to help out my planning resume. And I'll put the details on the podcast, how I planned it, everything. Give me some ideas, though. All right, I'll see y'all at the next location. I'm going to do some days in the life in between these. We're going to get that content rolling. Let me know what y'all like, what y'all don't like. See y'all next time.